U.S. intelligence report released today states that Saudi Arabia's crown prince was aware of and likely approved the killing of U.S.-based journalist Jamal Khashoggi. The Washington Post writer was murdered inside the Saudi consulate in Istanbul in 2018. Saudi Arabia says the report has unjustified and inaccurate conclusions. Khashoggi was a critic of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's authoritarian consolidation of power. Let's talk about the Khashoggi report, the U.S. airstrikes in Syria, and the next steps with Iran and this administration with Norman Roule. He is a former national intelligence manager for Iran and a former senior CIA Middle East expert. Norm, thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
Let's start with the strikes and the administration saying it's essentially a warning shot. Your thoughts on the strategic importance of it or the criticism they're taking for it? What about this strike?
So let me explain what's happened here. In this case, the United States has either been attacked or received information of an attack and has responded with public and private warnings to Iran not to undertake those attacks. Iran failed to do so, and we then responded with an action that demonstrates that we're not going to allow Iran to destabilize Iraq, but we're demonstrating our power and our intelligence and our capacity to strike those who are behind the attack. Here's the question. Will Iran respond by getting the message or just taking it up another step on the escalatory ladder to test our will in the long run?
Yeah. Meantime, as this is happening, as I just mentioned with Trey, the administration is clearly making moves to get back into some sort of nuclear deal. There were reports that some members of the administration were kind of talking to the Iranians, including Secretary Kerry, as the Trump administration was in office. Thoughts about that and what it means for the strategic Middle East geopolitically?
Well, first, diplomacy is always a good thing. This said, engagement thus far with Iran has not been producing, I believe, what the administration seeks. In addition to arriving with the idea that they would engage with Iran and return to the nuclear deal if possible, the administration has also been sympathetic to Iranian requests for funding through the IMF. Look what we've seen in response. Attacks on U.S. troops in Iraq. An attack today on an Israeli vessel in the Gulf of Oman that looks like the IRGC. Iran is refusing to cooperate with the IAEA. Thus far, Iran is testing our fortitude and seeing how far it can push the Biden administration and the international community for additional concessions.
All right, I want to read from this intelligence report about Saudi, assessing the Saudi government's role in the killing of Jamal Khashoggi. Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman approved an operation in Istanbul, Turkey, to capture or kill Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi. The Crown Prince viewed Khashoggi as a threat to the kingdom and broadly supported using violent measures, if necessary, to silence him. You know, I asked the foreign minister about this back in October of 2018. Here's an exchange I had. You're an authoritarian government. You're saying that the Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, did not know about this at all, even though there are members of this 15-person team that are closely aligned with him?
Well, Brett, first of all, we're not an authoritarian government. We're a monarchy. We have our checks and balances. We have our systems. The individuals who did this outside the scope of their authority. This is an aberration. This is a mistake. This is a criminal act, and those responsible for it will be punished.
To the original question, did the Crown Prince know anything about it, if there were people closely tied to him involved in this operation?
There weren't people closely tied to him who were involved in this operation. There were pictures of some security officers who may have been part of his security detail from time to time, but this is normal. This was an operation that was a rogue operation.
So this administration choosing to declassify this report, not seeing any strict punishments for MBS, the Crown Prince. Your thoughts on this and the fallout in the Middle East?
Well, the administration has achieved today several things. First, this is another step in its evolution of resetting relations with Saudi Arabia. In recent weeks, we've seen the president deny the opportunity to speak with the Crown Prince himself. They've ended an arms deal. They've also cut back on support with Saudi Arabia regarding Yemen. But this report makes it very clear. The U.S. intelligence community believes or assesses that the Crown Prince played a decision-making role in this action. I should note this report provides no evidence. It appears to be based on the intelligence community's understanding of how Saudi Arabia works, less any actual information. I should also note that despite this report, there have been routine discussions between the United States leadership and Saudi Arabia on multiple security issues within the last few weeks. The Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense, the President himself have all engaged their counterparts, and the very influential Saudi ambassador to the United States has been in routine contact, I understand, with the State Department and the National Security Council. So the reset continues, but the broader relations between the United States and Riyadh on issues of importance to each of our countries does go on.
And just quickly, obviously the last administration used the Gulf states to kind of do a different way to Middle East peace, and we're having some success, obviously significant success. Does this change that? Is this administration taking an opposite view with not only Iran, but the Gulf states?
Not regarding the Gulf states and Israel. This administration will attempt to further the success of the Trump administration, which was significant and historic. But I think that success will take some time to develop. I also believe the administration will push the Gulf states to somehow engage Iran, and they're going to be reluctant to do so since they're under a routine attack by Iran's Quds Force.
Norman Roule, we really appreciate your perspective always. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.